We'll be looking to see if he can start off his appearance in today's event with a bit of a bang, with a good start. So it's going to be, again, right now, Patience Trust. Following this, Patience plays Jachi. And after that, Patience will go up against, Maxed, then Maxed Jachi to finish off Group A. We have Group B a little bit later on as well, with Creator, Sleep, Super, and more. So that's all going on, guys. Again, what's up in the chat? How are we all feeling? How are we all doing today? Let me know what's going on, how it all... Yeah, let me know what's up. Let me just know what's happening. If we're all doing good, then so on. Just let me know. I was interested to see how... what we're all up to and so on, as we have to the bottom right hand side. Our red Protoss player is going to be Patience from Africa. He's going up against the blue Protoss player to the top left hand side, and is Trust from KT Roaster. We've seen 2 games of him already. The PvP against Max, it was actually a very aggressive series out of Trust. 2 games where, well, actually to be fair, in game 1 he was very aggressive. In game 2 his opponent was very aggressive, and he just defended it while doing good damage to the Stargate Oracle across the map, and so on and so on. So, setting up into this now, game number 1 of this third best of 3 for Trust. First best of 3 of the group from Patience. And Trust in a prime position to make it through the group. Again, if he wins this now, he's 100% through the group and in first place. If he doesn't win this now, then he will still be at 2-1 match score, and that's a pretty good match score. Jachi's already 1-0. 0-1, sorry. Patience will be 1-0. It's unlikely that he doesn't make it through the group. Well, it's possible, but it's unlikely, especially considering, well, only 2 on Maxed, which is going to be only 2-1. Depends if he takes a map or not. Anyways, we can talk a bit more about this. It's so pointless sometimes, especially if we can't bring the group up. It's kind of a bit silly to try and bother imagining it, because there's just so many different possibilities. It's hard to really think about what direction the group can go in. And we've seen Nexus nice and early out of Patience. Going to delay his unit production here in the super early stages. Going to delay that unit production here in the super early stages just to get a couple more gateways up. So, a couple more gateways coming up, and again that Nexus building over on the natural expansion. As we see 2 Adepts from Trust starting to move out onto the map and looking to see what's going on. What's up, Lizzie, by the way, in the chat as well. What's up? How you doing? Again, WESG's in their final series of the day, guys. So once WESG is up, we should be probably a little bit better on the viewers and maybe a bit more of an active chat as well, which would be nice, of course. Always nice when we can just have a nice few people in here chattering and whatever else. Dark Shrine is on the way. So Dark Shrine building here for Trust in the upper left side of the map. So it's building up into that nice and early. Very aggressive opening from himself here, so a bit different from what we've seen so far. We haven't seen the DTs make an appearance today in the PvP or the PvTs, so I'm just going to be setting up into this, and yeah, a little bit of a different way to open from Trust. Now, Patience going to Robo Facility should not necessarily take a huge amount of damage from the DTs, but DTs are those units where, even if you're prepared for them, they can still generally do enough damage to justify themselves. Not all the time, but there's a lot of openings. It's very hard to defend them perfectly, even if you're prepared. They're still likely to get some damage done. So the other thing as well is, you come into them early, you have them up early, and you actually get value out of them all game long. They're units which can continue to force observers, they can help you defend, they can harass. It's a tech structure, it's a tech tree which really has limitless potential as the game continues. So we've seen these couple of Depths Stalkers from Patience pushing out in the ears right away. Going to be pushing Trust back up this ramp, and a couple more Stalkers from Trust coming in here. Going to actually turn and fight and take down one of these Stalkers, or get very close to taking down one of those Stalkers. This Stalker actually now going to be going down, so Trust going to win this fight right away. Takes a 1 Stalker advantage, and well, it's actually a 2 Stalker advantage because of the way the numbers were before the fight, but he does win that fight. 1 Stalker for nothing, and the Dark Shrine now in play in the DT. One of them going to be warping in and moving forwards. Now, where's the Observer is the question. It is out, and it is just sat over the Robo, so it's nearby, and that's the important feature here, is we're going to see an overcharge coming in very preemptively from Patience. I don't really understand it at all. Looks like he's picked up on the DT, though, so moving forwards, he's going to see that. Did you see the Dark Shrine? No, he didn't, so it's very interesting overcharge he puts down at the front, maybe just a misclick. DT does make it through to the main, so he's going to actually pick up 6-7 kills. And Trust already put himself into a good position in terms of damage done here. Look at the amount of damage he's doing. So much damage And Patience going to find himself down 5 workers after that, so good start here from Trust, who's still under pressure a little bit across the map. Units lost here early. Well, again, we saw that little bit of a trade from either side. A few units lost from Trust. Patience really losing the majority, though. As Trust gets ready to go once again. Small units to the left. Patience going to be pushing out here, and Patience definitely does, despite the lower economy at this stage, he definitely does have more army supply overall. So if he did want to push and maybe get a little bit aggressive, he definitely has the potential to take advantages in this. And we're going to be seeing now the a few units just gathering themselves together. Just gathering themselves together. Seeing, I mean, thinking what exactly he does want to do. I mean, it's not just a, oh, well, you know, it's hard for him to figure out that he has enough units to really attack, so probably he's just going to sit back. Still, though, Trust pulling ahead in workers. 7 workers up right now. Continue to pull ahead in that regard. Patience with a Warp Prism going across here to get some maybe damage done. It'll be interesting to see what he can achieve with this, actually, as we have a few probes continue to mine away over on the natural expansion. They could maybe disrupt those a little bit, just some harassment. Another ship coming nearby the natural, but nothing behind the mineral line to protect from, say, a few depths warping in. There is a DT underneath, so he could use that. Trust very brave, still with 4 Stalkers just at the front here, despite so many units of Patience. He's still just sort of sitting in this location as just 1 adept. Wow. 1 adept, he's just going to be picking away at a couple of probes. 2 adepts makes this so much faster, of course, because then he can one-shot the probes, essentially. We're going to see a nice little lift up. Love that. The adept getting low on health, and he just pulls it back straight away. And get 1 more work kill. And it's good stuff from Patience so far as he continues to clean on probe after probe after probe. And these 2 adepts going to get lifted once again and again, find themselves backing away through the left-hand side. Stalker's coming from Trust, maybe trying to intercept that Warp Prism, but he's just about going to miss it here. Isn't going to find the opportunity to trade. And we do just see Trust still just engaging with blinking around the map, making use of that early blink upgrade, which he has, yet Patience does not. So despite the upgrade, sorry, not the upgrade, but the army disadvantage, Trust does have an upgrade lead in blink, but only blink, and you have to wonder how much does blink really come into play as the game continues. Well, as the Resonating Glaives finishes, you're going to imagine that it's mostly going to be Adepts and Immortals as the composition. I don't think Stalkers are going to have a really huge role to play at all, so we'll see how this continues. We see an Observer now from Trust just moving out in towards the center, and Hallucinated Phoenix from Patience just going to be looking to come in over the third base and see what's happening. Stalkers Trust going to move out and just looking to try and grab that Phoenix and get rid of it pretty quickly, so Phoenix does go down. And Patience has put himself into a location where he's going to be able to take the third Nexus, so putting himself into a location over here. Units continue to move around from Patience and just looking to see what he can get up to. Still maintaining a huge army supply lead from the earlier stages of the game. Still a few workers behind, but again, that army supply lead is really substantial at this point. So, very substantial army lead. And we're going to be seeing more units from Patience just gathering together. Well, again, where is he going to really look to attack? I'm not too sure. Going to be continue to move up the center. I mean, I guess he could just sort of brute force his way through. He's still 20 army supply up. I'm really surprised that Trust hasn't really caught up in any way. I mean, you look at it, yeah, he lost a few more units, but he's been ahead by so many workers for so long in the game. How can he have been ahead 16 workers or 10 to 16? He's been ahead all game long, we've been mentioning it, right? And he's not been able to transition that into an army supply advantage despite how long it's been. Let's see a Force Field 2 coming down now as Patience just has way too much here for Trust. Gonna shade a few adepts forwards, they're gonna jump on top of some of this army. Maybe a couple of sentries will go down with it. As we're just gonna be seeing way too many units here. Patience continues to push on through. These units of Trust continuing to drop down dead. And that is really just gonna be Patience cleaning on out. And he's gonna take game number 1. So, second series in a row where Trust is gonna lose game 1. He's gonna be falling behind. He did bounce back, of course, against Jachi. Whatever you can do in the PvP up on the left-hand side, our Red Protoss player who's taking the lead in this series, it is Patience here on Frozen Temple. And he's going up against the Blue Protoss to the bottom right. It is Trust for KT Rolster. Set now into game number 2. We're going to be building up in a way which is going to be probably very standard again for the early stages. Frozen Temple. Out of all the maps, if you're going to skip a 2-gate opening, Frozen Temple would be the stupidest map to do it on. because you're just asking for trouble. It's a short rush distance, it's aggressive, it's designed to be played somewhat aggressively in the mid game, early game, while still allowing you fairly early free bases. And that's what we should be seeing here from the players, I think, to try and skip the 2 gates and to do super economy and super greedy. You're just asking for trouble. And it's so easy to scout on this map as well. The short rush distance comes into play there too. Super early in the game, your opponent, if they probe scout, is going to see that you're not going to be available to... They're going to see if you're going to be playing a little bit differently. They're going to see if you're going to be playing with... how do you say it? I mean, they're going to see if you're playing with a lack of 2 gates, and they're going to be able to punish that. They're going to be able to adjust their own build orders to become advantageous, to be in an advantageous position against it. So, going to be seeing the probe 2 here, just nibbling away in a little bit of a fight between the workers in the early stages. Patience just trying to harass, trying to annoy, trying to slow things down. Cybercore from both players continuing to build up here. So Cybercore going to be finishing from both, and a couple more adepts will warp in from Trust. So a couple more adepts on the way in. Just going to be seeing the pylon coming down to the left side of the main base from Patience. So setting that up, and yeah, I mean, Nexus is almost, of course, about halfway done the Nexus. I'm just going to be seeing these 2 gates from Trust just going to be finishing very shortly as well. So Twilight's about halfway done. It is interesting, the fast Twilight from Patience. We've been seeing a lot of fast Twilights for, well, I guess Dark Shrine is a possibility here, especially when you're only on 1 base and you're not expanding. I was going to talk a little bit about Resonant Glaives openings, but I think to see a Resonant Glaives here would be very, very different, very weird, right? Because it's just too early in the game to commit into that. If you go Resonant Glaives, you're generally playing a more macro-focused game. You're generally looking to get a bit of a larger army up for those adepts to really get into higher numbers where they excel. But, yeah, I mean... yeah, I mean, Dark Shrine is just the obvious choice if it's 1 base on 1 base, so... UC Trust starting to expand. He went into this Robo again, so pretty much the same build did against Maxed early in the first series of the day for him. You're going to see this overcharge going down. He is going to get some good damage onto this Adept. We're actually going to be seeing Patience winning out this fight. Cleans out the Adepts very easily indeed. Looks good for him so far. Did the Adepts figure out the Dark Shrine? He did see it. Does it just look like a pylon to him? Well, I don't think so. An Observer is on the way out, already pointed to the front. And this should be a fairly simple defense from Trust in the early stages. It's one of those situations right here where actually with an Observer at the front, it's very easy to shut down the Dark Temple play. And that's what we're sort of heading towards right now. So shutting that down, and let's see what else is happening. We're going to see this Observer still just overhead from Trust. And we're going to be seeing 2 more Adepts from Patience coming down the right hand side in towards the natural expansion in. Just going to shade up here, going towards the main base. Again, look to see if there's any openings he can find, which we're just going to allow him to get damage done. And 2 DTs just warping in. Patience getting ready to attack. Oh wow, he's actually got a pylon in his opponent's main base. Well, that's huge. Comes in and immediately will be thinking about which way he wants to do this. He's going to go and just going to target probes, I think. Probably the safest way to as well, as we can see these DTs doing a lot of damage. And for having an Observer at the front, there should be Trust being very confused as to what on earth is actually going on here. DTs, no use to deal with them just yet. So they're actually still around and still getting some more damage done. He pulls over to the left. Now he's going to reveal that pylon, perhaps. Oops. Apologies. Pressed the wrong button while trying to get the vision. He's going to really come over to the left and get that pylon. Maybe reveal the pylon if Trust goes far enough forwards. Hasn't seen it still. And still doesn't go far enough forwards to see it. And Archon actually going to warp in here. Maybe get a bit more damage done. Be a little bit, I guess, if the DTs are low on health, it's a little bit safer for him. The probes continuing to mine away on the main base. We're going to be seeing Stalkers moving forward, so they're going to continue to work their way through this pylon. Taking a little bit, doing a little bit more damage here. Archon just hopping around different sides. Not much range on it though, and so as the as we do see these overcharges coming down, the Archons can't really fight into that. We're going to see a big attack across the map though. Trust coming in already. Motion Core loses its shields as the Mortal gets caught off guard as well. Going to go down before it is protected by anything. Motion Core will be chased now as well. Will fall after dropping the overcharge from the high ground. And this pylon is not something he wants to fight against. There's no need to. You can just move into position, unpower the robot facility, for example. Twilight Council as well will be unpowered. And already, Trust has put himself into a great position. DT comes in. Actually, the DT might be the one thing that defends this for now, more so than anything else, as we're going to be seeing Trust needs to get damage done. He was very far behind on workers due to this Archon/DT harassment. He's actually picked up 10 kills of the Archon, so really important for Trust to be able to continue to kind of, deal damage over here. And he is now 7 workers ahead. Still, the lack of an observer on this side of the map, I think, is probably the one thing which is very detrimental for him right now. If he had an observer, he'd kill off that DT, and I think everything else is free pickings for him. But he just doesn't have that opportunity just yet, as we're going to be seeing these free stalkers and a DT. Still just sat to the right side of the main base. Natural expansion is up from Patience. Again, Pylon just sat in the main, just not really doing too much just yet. And Trust starting before to a few stalkers here, going to be moving through the center. And some stalkers up here from Trust, so just continue to make their way through that Pylon. Pylon going to go down. There's 2 more stalkers warping in, and again, they are going to be picking their way through this Pylon. So another Pylon down, and Trust continuing to make progress on Patience's side of the map. Patience, well, he's evened up the work count. He's done enough here to put himself in a good position. That Pylon in his opponent's mineral line is proven to be so effective. Problem being, he just doesn't have enough army, and so he is going to type out the game as Trust continues to push. So which direction this is going to be going in? As we have to the bottom right, a red Protoss player from Afrika. It's going to be Patience. And he is going to be going up against the blue-teal Protoss player to the bottom left-hand side. It's Trust. Fast games today. Fast games from Group A of the Cup. I mean, I guess PvP is one of those matchups that can be very long. Or, well, PvP is one of those matchups that can be very long. Or very, very slow. Very long, very, very long, very slow. Very long or very short. There we go, we've got the actual opposites there. It can be either of 2 extremes. It can be super aggressive, as most mirror matchups can be in the early stages of the game, because there's a lot of opportunities to generally attack. Punish your opponent for not doing the exact same as you, maybe just being that little bit greedier. There's a lot of opportunities for little things like that. But at the same time, one of those matchups that once you get into the mid game, there's a lot of defensive possibilities. The general position you sort of end up in, the general situation you find yourself in, is going to be a very macro-oriented and longer game, sort of, in a way, as well. WSG over? Oh wow, it is. Wow, that result is crazy. WSG's been crazy these playoffs. Interesting stuff. Alright guys, so if you're just tuning in from WSG because it has just finished up, then welcome. I'm Wardy. We're casting from replays right now, so we're casting from replays because these were the matches we missed the other day in the SGL when we were actually casting the WESG as the B stream. So you guys missed casting this event to cast WESG as the B stream. And so we're going to be catching up now, basically, and bringing you guys these games anyways, because we don't want you to miss out on the SGL games. We think it's a fantastic tournament. We love the tournament. We love the fact that we get to be the exclusive English stream for it as well. And so we want to make sure that even when we do miss the games, we can't bring you guys the coverage. We still do, basically, even if it is just a little bit later on. So, going into this game number 3 of this best of 3 series, we're going to be having a look to see what sort of direction we're going to be heading into here in the early stages. Double gate from both players is not really too much of a kind of it's a normality from both, so very standard stuff here early. Trust again with the robo facility coming in before he takes an expansion, something he seems to like to do against the Protoss players here today so far. He has got a pylon proxied up to the top left, top right hand side, so it's going to be intriguing to see how exactly Trust is going to approach this. You know, is he going to be actually proxying something here? He is! RoboBay! Alright, well, we are talking RoboBay early, and that is just going to be a rush to Disruptors again. Maybe Disruptor drops like we saw earlier. I mean, we saw earlier from Trust it was in a PvT, though, that he did that. In the PvP before, he just went Warp Prisms. This is interesting. You see Patience applying some pressure. He's actually sticking to one base. He's landing on a gateway and a robo facility across the map, so man, these Protoss players are both being aggressive today, both taking in turns to just be the aggressor, proxying buildings. Neither of them are really stopping at all. It's been a little bit crazy already here as these Stalkers just coming up the ramp and getting ready to trade. 2 more Stalkers from Patience coming across. And the question is going to be, can Trust defend? Well, I think he can. Going into a Disruptor is actually really nice because the Disruptor can do so much to help you defend. That said, it can be a little bit hit and miss. Quite literally, either you hit your opponent or you miss. And if you hit, well, you do well. If you miss, you don't do so well. And that might just change the complete sort of momentum of the game. As we're going to see these Stalkers and Patience going to come up the ramp and they're going to start filling out in a depth or so here, perhaps. We're going to see these few Stalkers just going to back away. And a couple of them from Patience moving through in towards the center of the map. Almost 3 more Stalkers warping in. Patience building up his army, but can he attack up here? Well, there's no pylons, so I bet, to some extent he definitely should be able to. He should at least stop this an actual expansion coming down. That's one thing he should definitely be able to do. There's a Gravitic Drive, the Warp Prism speed on the way. As we're going to be seeing the first Disruptor is already moving across the map. That's how confident Trust is. He doesn't even leave the Disruptor at home to defend. And that makes an interesting little setup here. As we're going to be seeing Stalkers and Adepts. Well, going to start to fight. I mean, he doesn't have that many Stalkers compared to his opponent. And that does just give Patience a slight advantage here. Uh-oh! 4 Stalkers go down! Well, what was I saying? He doesn't have as many Stalkers as his opponent. Well, now he does. And more. As he picks off more and more Stalkers. All of a sudden, it's 5 against 2. Kaboom. Huge play by Trust. And that is going to put him into a fantastic position here right from the get-go. So, Trust is going to defend here. Initially, he starts to expand. He's comfortable to do that now as well. The thing is, as the Warp Prism does go across the map, so we are going to see some aggression with this. Pros will start to fall, and Patience is going to be picked away at over the next few moments. However, he gets an Immortal out, so next push forward from Patience starts to do a little bit more here. Cancels the pylon on the low ground already. Will probably get through this Nexus as well. Stalkers of Trust already had to pull away in towards the main base as Stalkers and an Immortal continue to work their way through this Nexus. There's the cancel. And Patience going into a Stargate right now. I mean, I guess you can get like a Voidra or something up. It will help him to fight against both the Warp Prism and the Disruptor, I guess. Or you could just go Phoenix, similar idea, pick up the Disruptor every time it tries to fire. I think the Phoenix is probably a bit of a safer choice, an easier choice. He doesn't actually need that many to shut it down. So Phoenix already on the way out here from Patience. As this Disruptor going to be looking around, going to be dropping off in a moment to overcharge here initially. Oh, double overcharge as well. Realizing here the issue he's in. Trust going to have to back away. Phoenix will try to chase the Warp Prism, and Warp Prism does change direction. Disruptor will move forwards. Warp Prism of Patience was across the map, but is coming back home now as well. You're going to see that Phoenix lifting up, and the Disruptor was in range of the pylon. Nice pick off here, so Patience does shut down Trust's aggression, but where's the Nexus? Where's the expansion? Non-existent from Patience. Then again, he did cancel Trust's expansion too, so that's worth keeping in mind here. But look at this. Patience actually going to get a little bit of his art when he caught up to this side. All of a sudden, Patience is starting to lose some units. Warp Prism comes in, so all of a sudden, Patience is also finding himself with his own army coming into play to fight here. And he's continuing to work his way through this. They think this is just going the way of Trust, though. He's warping in for more Stalkers, but the Phoenix will cancel it, taking down the Warp Prism. Doesn't matter, still wins the fight. The pylon will just not go down before the Immortal comes out. Probably a good thing. Oh, he actually lifts it up and keeps it alive. I was going to say, it might be a good thing, because if he kills the Immortal, then he actually gets more, and he actually gets kind of a bit of a, into a bit of a better spot, but, then he's actually wastes more resources of his opponent. But the Warp Prism keeps it alive, as we're going to be seeing this pylon over here to the left side. Going to go down as well. So another pylon going down. We're going to be seeing Robo Facility continuing to take a little bit more damage in these units out of Trust. Going to be backing away towards the center of the map once again as 2 Immortals drop down here, working their way through this pylon. So pylon gets taken down. They will turn the Immortals and they will continue to harass. And it's definitely a little bit of a composition. 2 Immortals. It's definitely something that can get damage done. Is overcharges, doing a lot. And Trust is across the map as well, looking to do more damage, poking forwards here. Stalkers attacking the front. Overcharge comes down. Phoenix will lift and actually catches a couple of Stalkers in the overcharge, so that was nice. That worked out well for him. Did a little bit more than it maybe should have done initially. A few more Adepts warping in as well, and this army of Trust continuing to get set to go forwards here over the next few moments. Adepts going to shade up this ramp, and actually, well, there's not enough there for Trust to really commit in. There's too much from Patience. Patience still having to be the defender here. One base, 8 minutes into this PvP. Here we go. Overcharge comes down, but there's only one available. The pylon now dead. There's 2 Immortals against 1, but there's just so many gateway units in favor of Trust, and I think that's what makes the difference here. These Immortals are very low in health. Once the units start to move forwards, the Immortals will drop very quickly. There's 1, there's 2. GG as well. Trust is going to crush this group, and he's going to go 3-0, advances through in first place. Trust just looked fantastic here today. He really, really did. He really, really did.